It's Al Cole from CBS Radio, and I want to tell you about a Renaissance woman who excels at everything she puts her innovative mind to. And you know, I'm going to start it out like this. What would you say if I told you that I was going to introduce you to a lady who is a very successful business entrepreneur and a world-class creative force as a realtor, interior designer, hosts charity golf tournaments for wildlife, and is the cutting-edge author of the stunning Magical Forces Within? Well, Al, I'd say make the introduction, brother. I've just been dying to learn some of all of those things from somebody who sounds like a real magnetic lady. Well, you're in luck because not only can you learn about the fabulous life accomplishments of this woman, whose name happens to be Rhonda Grant, but week in and week out, Rhonda will introduce you to some of the most exciting guests on the planet as she hosts her own awesome podcast, The Rhonda Grant Show, on Contact Talk Radio. Week to week, Rhonda skillfully weaves the magical forces within her with the extraordinary discoveries in the sometimes ordinary lives of her guests who blossom before your very eyes through the guidance and know-how of such a skilled and sensitive host as Rhonda Grant. You got to check it out. Check out all the action at RhondaGrantAuthor.com. That's RhondaGrantAuthor.com to witness the extraordinary discoveries in otherwise ordinary lives. And I hear some of you asking right now, well, Al, how do you know all this? I'll tell you. It's because I weave some of the same magic on my own nationally syndicated show called People of Distinction. It's all about humanity at its best. Every guest with extraordinary things to say about the magical forces within life itself. Get it? So check them out. The Rhonda Grant Show, Extraordinary Discoveries in Ordinary Lives, and People of Distinction, created by me, Al Cole from CBS Radio, now hosted by my amazing son, Benji Cole. You can check out People of Distinction on Apple Music or email me for exciting updates on my music and my books too, especially Romance for Women on Amazon. Email me at al@alcoholic.com. You heard me right. That's ALCOLEHOLIC.com. And I really want to thank my CBS radio listeners for coming up with that handle, Alcoholic. Seems like from day one, my listeners have been saying, Al, we love what you're doing there, brother. In fact, we're hooked on it. We're alcoholics. So here we go in classic form with a swing of a golf club as she hosts another charity golf tournament for wildlife and another incomparable Rhonda Grant show. So all together, everybody, here's Rhonda.
Thank you for tuning in. You are listening to the Rhonda Grant Show right now, and I have many great guests on the show, and I have a great guest coming up. If you've been searching for a deeper meaning in your life, go to Amazon and pick up my book, Magical Forces Within. You know, we're all ordinary people having extraordinary experiences. And we have a fantastic guest on the show today, Emily Bron, and we're going to find out about her extraordinary experiences. Emily is an avid traveler with experience of traveling to over 40 countries, with years of living and working in 4 different countries on 3 different continents. She has had several immigrations and changes to her professional direction. The concept of international lifestyle consulting came from Emily's desire to help others work, live, or retire overseas so that they could enjoy life to the fullest without compromising health and overall well-being. International Lifestyles Consulting helps people find the destination, create a personal plan, and customize solutions for the best place to live, work, and retire overseas based on the client's budget, personal preferences, desired lifestyle, and connecting with reliable local professionals abroad. Welcome to the Rhonda Grant Show, Emily.
Hello, Rhonda. Hello, everyone who listening to us. I'm happy, really privileged to be part of your show.
Thank you. It is wonderful having you here. Was there anyone or anything that helped guide you on your path to where you are right now?
I think it's actually my personal search over the years, search of meaning, search of what I would do for people search of my place in the world, which helped me to arrive to the point recently and actually creating this company because I understood that this way I really can help people in a time of need.
Wonderful. What are top 3 destinations that people choose when they're looking for a vacation property, Emily?
You know, first of all, I'm working with people of different age and
Yes.
different priorities. So based on their particular situation, I'm advising them about the best country, best region for them. But from my experience and from my personal knowledge, I think that 3 countries as of now would tick all boxes for baby boomers, remote workers, and digital nomads alike. It's Mexico, Panama, and Portugal, if we speak about only 3 countries. And why I selected these countries, because each of countries I mentioned have expat communities already formed of digital nomads and expats living for years. And each country, especially Mexico and Portugal, are offering amenities for people I'm serving.
Wonderful. And for people who are looking specifically for vacation properties, do they want to be at the water? And also, are builders catering to these people looking for vacation properties by building condos?
Yes, I connected with such developers as well. And again, in Mexico, it's a huge country and there are different water points. I mean, Caribbean, Pacific coast, Gulf of Mexico. In Panama, it's 2 different seas, a Pacific and Caribbean side. In Portugal as well. But I can tell you that from lifestyle perspective, you know, there are some people who prefer not water only, or actually maybe not seashore, but some other areas like mountain areas, to live in a city with rich cultural life. So I'm taking in consideration all these aspects. And yes, I have connections with developers and real estate brokers working in all these areas of interest. I mean, seashores and some other areas where newcomer or vacationers prefer to live, to spend time with. And I really can connect people who are looking for additional or maybe first vacational home abroad of United States and Canada.
Mm-hmm. And so if I wanted to buy a vacation home, let's say in the US, let's say North Carolina, but I'm only going to vacation 3 months out of the year. But I do want my own place because I want to have my own things there and I want to furnish it with my style. So would you have a solution for me where you have contacts in order for me to be able to rent that property out when I'm not there?
Obviously, I can tell you that
Yes.
the property management market, it's really well developed in other countries. Even I was surprised, and I have it from my own experience, because I have property in Mexico, and I can tell you there is even competition between property management companies who are offering you, me in this case, whole package of options. They actually renting it out, they cleaning, they accepting guests. I even don't know anything rather than, you know, connecting with them and getting from them report once a month. And obviously I'm considering and I'm connecting with such developers in Belize, in Panama, in Costa Rica, who are providing property management services as well, because I understand and they understand that people, if they're considering to have a vacation home, would also appreciate their property to be managed rest of the year, and actually to bring them passive income, because it's a really nice feature to have, I would say. And what I can tell you, even from architectural and design perspective, the many new apartments in development I'm working with, they considering even this type of apartments when you can have your separate room, say with your private stuff, closed, locked in, and rest of the property, like additional bedroom with salon and kitchen, would be open for rental properties for visitors coming, if it's in your interest. So architectural design really accommodates this desire of people to have their own stuff untouched in the property, and rest of the apartment to be rented if desired.
Yes, I've seen that. So the layout is it's like a common room, right? Where you've got the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, and then you have separate bedrooms that are able to be locked or unlocked, depending on how many rooms of those bedrooms that you want to rent. So are these rentals that you rent per month, year after year, or do you actually purchase them and then this type of setup?
I think it's up to owner, to consider with property owner, and up to the country.
Right.
It depends if short-term rental or long-term rental. So I can tell. So what I've seen, you have even a separate entry, to your bedroom, and there is separate washroom unit.
Yes.
So you even can live in one part of the apartment and rent out another part. So there's an option, and you considering what is good for you, and you have like calendar when you may block time when you would be in apartment, and up to your desires how you would manage the time, and how long it would be rented.
Wonderful. What do you like about Portugal?
First of all, for me, it's a European country, which gives you access to other European countries in Schengen zone. It's very nice people living, really helping with needs you might have. It's interesting culture and art, and it's not big country, but with different even climate zone, and with good transportation venues inside of country. So I know that many people considering it, many people from North America and north of Europe considering it nice retirement destination and vacation destination. And they prefer to have places, and again, there are different regions of Portugal that I would advise people to select based on their lifestyle desires. But it's really nice country, cost of living one of the lowest in Europe, but with amenities, healthcare really on the top.
The weather, is it very close to the Canadian weather, or is it warmer? I haven't really checked into that.
Yes, it's warmer. It's a lot of warmer. But again, there are three regions. The warmer part is Algarve, close to Mediterranean region, and it's more than 300 days of sun in this area. And actually, there is a place that most of European and North Americans retirees like to spend time in. And there's northern part of Portugal and Porto with cooler climate. But anyway, even this cooler climate, it's warmer, much like warmer considering what we have in Canada in the winter time.
It just seems like a beautiful country and a place that I definitely want to visit, that's for sure. You're listening to the Rhonda Grant Show right now, and we're talking with my guest, Emily Bron, today, who is a lifestyle consultant, an international lifestyle consultant, actually. Emily, if people wanted to connect or contact you, how would they do that? Do you have an email address that you'd like to share?
Great question. I actually have my website, my first last name together, emilybron.com. And through this site, you can connect me via email, which is info@emilybron.com. You can book consultation with me, and there's special consultation page devoted to it with scheduling. And actually, when people are scheduling, they get the first questionnaire, which really helps them to filter out their options as well. I can be found also on LinkedIn by Emily Bron or International Lifestyle Consulting. And by my name, you can find me in Google, in LinkedIn, and Facebook. So there are several options for your followers and for everyone interested in international lifestyle consulting.
I really like your Facebook. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn as well and see you there, but your Facebook is really lovely done and really up to date with current events. And I like that. And I'm sure that our listeners are going to like that too. So International Lifestyle Consulting. Tell me, why do you like Mexico?
First of all, for me, it's very interesting culture, very colorful. And Mexico, it's a big country with different cultural regions, with nice climate, with variety of climates. And it's part of North America. It's very good connected with United States and Canada. And maybe because I'm myself considering to move to Mexico eventually, and I have already some connections. I traveled in the country. The more I see, the more I, appreciate and even amazed every time with something new I found in this country. And I'm working on some project which really I would like to introduce to people coming to me as a nice place for vacation, for work, for retirement, even for assisted living. It's one of the projects I'm involved now between Canadian and Mexico side. And yes, it's great culture. It's easy to get to, and Mexico is very welcoming country. There's less even kind of immigration procedure to consider. And for many Canadians and Americans, it's already home for more than 20 years. More than 1.5 million of Americans and Canadians live in this country on the permanent base, officially, I mean, have temporary or permanent residency, and even more spend winter or some time in a country, because we can be in Mexico up to 6 months only on tourist visa. So there are a lot of benefits for us to explore this country.
Right. And tell our listeners, one of the other countries that you mentioned was Panama. Yes. And what do you like about that? What can you tell our listeners about Panama?
I know that Panama is very quickly developing as a hub, economical and financial hub of Americas. And many companies, brand name companies from North America, from Europe, from Latin America, actually moved their headquarters to Panama City, because it's offering very good incentives, tax incentives, financial incentives. So they say that Panama, plus the excellent geographic location and Panama Channel, which connect, Matrix and several oceans together, soon will become Singapore of our part of the world. So it's really growing up. The economy is stable. That's why it attracts many business people, many businesses, as well as retirees to this country. And I was following up how all these countries of my interest, I would say, behaved during the COVID. They really getting out of the pandemic with less economical damage. That's why it became very strong on the list of people who considering to move to this country. And again, it's nice climate, there's variety. And by the way, expat in these countries mostly prefer to live in the mountain area of the country close to Costa Rica because of climate. And
Yes.
I like this climate, this mountain style climate as well. It's not so humid as for example, Panama City, but Panama City attract other type of people like businessmen, people who really interested to be, you know, in the midst of business function. And some people actually have apartment headquarters in Panama City, in some home, you know, outside of the capital, where climate and pace of living is different. Because Panama City kind of remind Miami City.
Yes.
Yes, and you know, if people prefer to have balance between business life and life as a pleasure to enjoy nature, there are many options in Panama as well.
Right. So I guess what the listeners are probably wondering at this point is, we've been in a pandemic now for about 1.5 years, and can you speak to us about how that's affected people who vacation abroad, and also healthcare, I guess, as well?
Speaking about healthcare, like we all were locked down, I mean, all over the world for some time. Canada,
Yes.
in Canada, we're still feeling, you know, this influence. But I had interest to medical tourism and to development of healthcare and medical facilities in Latin America for years. It's actually how my business started, from medical tourism. So from health perspective, I can tell you, for people who concern or maybe thinking about relocation or even vacationing, that personal medical care in Panama, in Mexico, in Costa Rica, really on a high level, with really wonderful doctors, professionals, and all required tools. It's actually one of the businesses these countries are known for, attracting foreigners for surgeries, for dental care, for cosmetic surgeries and orthopedic surgeries. So you can find excellent clinic in countries I mentioned. And I think it's one of the aspects which attract people from different countries, specifically from United States, where healthcare might be not or very expensive, like available, but very expensive for some. So please don't be concerned thinking that healthcare in other countries are not on the level. I found even in some areas, and I was patient myself, in some areas I appreciated dental care higher than in Canada, for example. It's my personal experience. How it was affected, I think, again, different countries and different capacity. Mexico was open almost all the time, more than a year, for foreigners. That's why so many people from different countries, including Canada and United States, spent the pandemic time in Mexico, and actually over this time so liked local lifestyles that they decided to be part of the country, and purchased property. And I can tell you the development in Panama, in Mexico, in Belize over the last year was hugely expanded. I think even developers were surprised about the interest this property get from the buyers or investors from North America or other places. So I think this region, these countries just gain, like, in economical perspective. Obviously, there are some restrictions, but I can tell you that in these countries there were less restrictions in regard to personal freedom than in North America. Obviously, it was some lockdown and it was very kind of a strict rule, but while it's opened, it's continued to, people continue to live and to develop their businesses.
And then there's another aspect of it where, and I don't know if you know much about this, but if I go to a country, I can check with that country to see how much I would need to invest in a home there in order to become a citizen. Do you know about that?
Yes, I can tell you. It depends on country, but some countries I'm working with offer several immigration or residency programs. And again, it can be golden visa like in Portugal, in Spain, and it's openly defined how much do you need and to buy property of what value in order to apply to residency, and there are several venues. The same exists, but not golden visa would help you in Panama. In Panama, there are different programs with several tax incentives, actually the same in Portugal. And living and buying property in all countries I'm working with really help people to get or additional residency and eventually citizenship if they wish, or to invest in some other property or programs that might help them to develop their business even. So there are really variety of options, and real estate and investment via real estate to get residency and citizenship. It's what many countries are offering now. But I can tell that even there are options for people who are not considering to buy immediately. People can move to country to live for some time on the digital nomad visa or different type of visa, and to select the opportunity later. But for investors, I think there are a lot of opportunities now to consider, and I'm about to help.
Thank you. Do you feel that you've been called to your work? I mean, you had different jobs in 3 different countries. Was there a progression of your work that you ended up being an international lifestyle consultant?
I think that, yes, many previous life experiences and professional experience actually shaped what I am now. And I created this type of business that probably you will not find anyone else doing exactly what I'm doing, because I felt that this way I can really help people to find the best place for them live, work, and retire. And specifically during the pandemic, many people really had time to reevaluate own values, what is important for them, and want now to live life in a full, to enjoy life. So I'm offering additional opportunities for people to live in different countries, to learn from different cultures. And it's what I like myself. It's my calling, and I'm really passionate about it. You probably hear, and I would like to help people to enjoy life as well, and to find the best place where they can get the fulfillment and future development, personal development, or business development. It's what I'm about. And probably, yes, it's calling, and just to get all my ideas and experience and work to help people.
Yes. Well, you have visited 40 different countries, and that certainly equipped you with the excellent knowledge that you certainly have about the different countries and the details. I mean, the details of the healthcare, if you can become a resident, what types of places are there, what type of amenities are there. I mean, it's just over the top, the service that you're giving people. And I commend you for that. I mean, you stepped out on a limb to start something brand new. There's not, as you say, there's not a lot of people doing it. What extraordinary discovery have you found in your life?
There were many discoveries, in different stages of my life.
Yes.
And I would like to point out, I'm not just visited 40 countries. I lived in 5. So living and traveling, it's 2 different things.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which is I really would like to point out the difference. And that's why I understand the difference between traveling and living and looking to accommodate to new culture and to learn a new language or to understand people from different mentality. It's, I think, what actually distinguishes me from other travelers. And people might be traveling, 60 countries, 80 countries. I'm not counting just country to put it, to say, okay, I've been in this country. I just did it, from perspective for myself. It was just interesting for me in how many countries I visited. But I always was trying to understand what kind of people living here. I learned about history of the place. Or I was born in, say, in the former Soviet Union, which includes more than 100 nations, and was a big country that I traveled inside as well. And I'm learning all my life, actually, to be on top of news and latest development of digital nomad visa or what's happening in the country. It's always updated. And that's why I need to be aware of, and I do research. I think it's my own curiosity, what kind of moving me. And what I learned, that with all, experiences and historical events, life presented people, people tend not to learn from the history. I'm actually history buff. I mean, world history. At capacity I can do. Obviously, I don't know all. I'm just trying, and I'm interested. But it's what I learned. People not learning even from events happening 50 years ago. I'm trying to accommodate this knowledge, and I'm looking for the knowledge in this regard to understand the country. I'm advising people to come in. I'm even watching the movies. I'm trying to understand mentality of the people living in this country, or people, what kind of mentality they have, like from back home, how it can match. Because, at the end of the road, I would say, for investment perspective, yes, it's good. You need to know one set of questions, I would say, to clarify. But if person decided to live in a country, it's completely different mindset, what should be taken in account as well. How my personality, how my life experience might match, local one, because sometimes people disappointed. People have expectation which, nothing common with countries they're going to. No,
Mhm.
it can be learned, and I'm about to advise people, how to get more understanding, how to prepare yourself to the new culture. But sometimes, it's just not much. It's like how in a marriage, it can be two
Yeah.
wonderful people, but they kind of not matching. They cannot be together, like just to avoid disappointment and down the road.
Hmm. Well, you're certainly passionate about what your work and passionate about people and matching people to their investments. So, what extraordinary discovery have you found?
Extraordinary discovery. Yes, I mentioned about people. We don't know what is ahead of us. I would look
Yes.
to the future, and we can discover soon some things that we considering not possible for us, to be part of our life. So I would say be open to changes. Try to accept new life, whatever coming to us, because it might be, just investment for you in the near future, but under some circumstances, you might consider to go to the place and maybe live a part-time or full-time, and you will discover yourself along the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that even doing whatever I'm doing now, I'm discovering in myself how I'm changing, how communication and work with different people over the world changing, affecting me and changing my perception. So I think it's the biggest discovery, how with all differences, with desire, we can find what is unite us, if we
Perfect.
are open. So,
Yeah.
and I think this discovery, at least good surprise for me, I would say treat for me,
Yes.
because to find
Beautiful.
a common in uncommon, it's really treasure.
Yes. Wonderful. So let the listeners know one more time how they may reach out to you, how they may connect with you. By now, they have a pen and paper. I usually like to ask before we wrap up the show so that they may jot down the different platforms that you're on, Emily.
Yes, the first source of information and connection with me, my website, Emily Bron, Emilybron, all together, @.com, emilybron.com.
Yes.
My email, info@emilybron.com. You can find my business and personal page in LinkedIn by the same name, Emily Bron, or International Lifestyle Consulting. You can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. And by the way, there are YouTube channels that I launched recently. You can find my conversation with my partners, or just people I'm considering interesting, which I'm sharing with my future customers as well, because we touch different questions. So there's information to be found on my website. You can find me even via the Google.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Emily Bron, Emilybron.com is her website. And she says she has lots of information for you right there. Emily, I'm curious, how many languages do you speak?
I'm speaking 3 languages. My first language is Russian, my mother language. Even I'm not ethnically Russian, but I came from this part of the world, and it's actually helping me to connect with many other Russian speaking, living in different countries.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm speaking Hebrew and I'm speaking English, and I understand a little bit Romanian because I was born in Moldova, which was part of Romania. and I'm about to learn Spanish because I understand it might be needed in my future life.
Wonderful. Well, there you have it. Emily Bron, international lifestyle consultant. Please reach out to her. She speaks a few different languages and she's going to learn more of them. Thanks so much for being on the Rhonda Grant Show. Emily, it's been wonderful having you as a guest.
Thank you very much, Rhonda, and I hope we will be in touch, and I will inform you and your followers about many projects I'm involved in different countries, and a lot of information which is coming to me weekly. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Theme song coming up for the Rhonda Grant Show, Sun on the Water, is composed and performed by my friend John Park Wheeler. This is Rhonda Grant with the Rhonda Grant Show, author of Magical Forces Within, Extraordinary Discoveries in an Ordinary Life, inviting you to look for the magical forces within yourself today and every day. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Rhonda Grant Show with your host, Rhonda Grant. If you would like to find out more information about Rhonda and her upcoming guests and the work that she does, go to her website, rhondagrantauthor.com. That's rhondagrantauthor.com.